Last night I had a dream. It was a horrible dream. It was my mother and someone else. It was just really horrible. Um, but it took me back to my experience of childhood's heightened emotional states. And when I woke up from that dream, I had this overriding feeling of powerlessness. And then straight away, I could relate that to my childhood experiences when I felt powerless, when I felt like I could do nothing to make something stop or to change what was happening. And then I thought about feeling powerless as a child and not being able to process that and carrying that through adulthood. How would that have manifested in my adult life? And it was actually quite clear to see if I reflected on my 20s and my 30s. I definitely lived life in the back seat of a no in the passenger seat. That's what I say. I didn't make any, like, I didn't push to make things happen. I didn't drive for anything to happen, and I kind of just dealt with whatever was put in front of me. And that would kind of make sense. Living life in the passenger seat, feeling like you're powerless to actually make something happen. So that was very interesting. And then I thought about, now, what do I do now? Have I processed those feelings of powerlessness in later life? How do I do that? And actually, because I'm older now, I'm no longer in my late 30s or 40s. But I can see how later on in life I did start to change things. And it came from when, probably in my 30s, I actually started to, not knowing why, I actually started talking about my experiences as a child with my family. I feel like my family were the most, they were the most cathartic people to talk to about. And I was able to do that in my 30s. And I talked to my family and I talked to my friends, and I could see how, in a way, by doing what I couldn't do as a child, which is speaking about it, I was regaining the power that I thought that I didn't have. So a great power came in being able to do what I couldn't do as a child, which was to actually speak about it, and to be able to speak about it in the environment where it happened was amazing, and to be able to speak about it with friends who understood me and loved me, that was also amazing. And I can see how my life later changed. And it kind of, the change comes from once you've established what the deeper, the secondary, the hidden emotions are, and once you've worked a way of kind of negating those by doing the opposite in adult life, and by talking and sharing. And then there comes a part where you actually start retraining yourself, and you then have to start telling your brain, you have to start using the neuroplasticity in your brain, which can actually reprogram you. And that's when you start using positive self-talk, because your brain recognizes repeated emotional patterns. And you just have to interrupt those patterns when they occur. This is neuroplasticity that I'm talking about now. To interrupt those patterns when they occur and put in new language. Tell your brain who you are today. Tell your brain about how fantastic you are today, how capable you are today, and all the things you're capable of doing today. Tell your brain that, and then your brain will start looking for that in your external world and validating that in your external world, and things will start changing for you. So at the ripe old age, I feel like I've got some insight now into how my childhood experiences, heightened emotional experiences, have impacted me in later life, but then also how I can work through that, and in my case by regaining power, and then how to recondition myself after that as well, so I'm not carrying this old story with me today, and I'm living my life afresh. And I have to say, today I'm no longer living in the passenger seat. I'm definitely a driver. So what I'd like to end here with, thank you if you're still watching, is that this insight came to me in a dream. So I'm urging you to pay attention to your dreams. They're not literal. I don't think dreams are literal. I think Jung said that everyone in your dream is you. I'm not saying that's the case, but it's the feeling. For me, what happened was it was the feeling that I woke up with after that dream. So putting aside everything that actually happened in that dream, I woke up feeling so powerless. And that was the one word that I needed to help me to drive forward with the insight. So, if you know about your dreams, if things are coming up in your dreams, you can let me know in your comments. I'll be very, very interested to know. And remember, they're not necessarily literal. It's about the feeling that you wake up with.